Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to replace acoustic drum sounds with samples using the Slate Trigger 2 plugin. It's not going to use MIDI, we're going to use audio, but we're going to trigger audio samples of studio recorded drum sounds, which are going to make our mixes sound pretty tight, and it gives us a lot more options even in a situation where we did not record drums in MIDI, but we recorded them as audio, but maybe there was something wrong with the drum kit sounds, or we don't have a lot of time to process them. We can just slap a sample on and be good to go. So this is an old project that I recorded in the first class. It's me playing drums. I've tightened it up a little bit. You'll hear that it's not quite on the beat at the very beginning of the loop, but we'll use it as a demo for this purpose. So this is what it sounds like. And you'll see that I haven't done any processing to it at all. This is just the way it is. So I'm going to flip over to the mix window. I'm going to start with the kick drum. Click on Plugin, go to Dynamics, go down to Trigger 2 Mono. This will open up the Slate trigger. And if we play the track, you'll see the kick coming through on the screen. And we can use this grid to kind of adjust how it plays. But the first thing we want to do is load up a sample into this first track. So click on Browser, go for the kicks. Let's see, I think I looked under the green kick. Yeah, I like this one, green kick, Z1. Just double click it. It'll load it into the first slot. Go back to triggering. Play the track. I'm going to actually set up a loop so that I can listen to the same. Yeah, it's already a loop. I'm just going to set up a loop here, because the next thing that we need to do is fine-tune the sensitivity. You'll see in the screen here that some of the kicks are not being triggered because they don't have the little red dots on them. You can hear that lower, deeper, especially if we bring up the volume. If I bypass it, you'll see what the original one sounds like. We need to adjust the sensitivity so that all these kicks are caught. The other thing we can do is use a gate. It has a built-in gate on its own, which can also help clean things up. But I'm going to turn up the sensitivity a little bit because you'll see that some of these kicks didn't quite trigger. You want to make sure all of them have the little red dots on them. That means that they've actually reached the threshold and triggered the new sound. That's the original recording. If I flip over to the mix window, you'll see what the gain's looking like on that track. And if you need to pull it up or down, you can do it here. Another thing that you might need to fine-tune, it's not necessary here because we're not getting a lot of bleed on the kick, but we might want to isolate the frequency in which the kick is being triggered. So kick drum is a low sound, obviously, so we can have it low cut at the bottom and high cut it off very low at something like 400 or 1000 hertz. So that might also help the triggering. We're not really having much of a problem with the triggering in this particular case. Let's do the same thing for the snare. So we'll go to Dynamics, Trigger 2 Mono. If you want to hear what the snares sound like, Audition should be on. Pick a snare you like. Led Zeppelin. There's a whole mess, so you pick something you like. Let's go with that. Let's see how this one works. So you can see here the bleed of the kick into the snare mic, the bleed of the hat are well below the threshold. We're having good triggering here with the sensitivity. It's just fine the way it is. Let me mute these other tracks so we can hear exactly what's going on. That's the acoustic recording. That's the replacement. So then we can go ahead and, put some processing on here. We could put some EQ. We could put some gate, some compression. Send it to the reverb. There's all kinds of things we can do with it. It sounds just like it was recorded live here in the studio. So keep this in mind. It's a good way to create some more variety in your drum kits, and also to kind of get a little bit different sound than you got when you recorded it, so that you can kind of, in a sense, alter it in the mix. So I hope you enjoy messing with this Stephen Slate Trigger 2.0. See you later. Bye.